All right. This is Jim West and Dell Ross, and you're with us on Talking Preps Thursday night. So Dell, I don't know how you call this Thursday night. I think it's like week 11, part A, and tomorrow's week 11, part B.
Works for me.
Yeah, it works for me. I love it. I'll be able to go to two games this week.
Or pre-Halloween game and Halloween.
Exactly. So where do we start, Dale?
You can go ahead and tell us about that. Since I did not go to a game, okay. My back was, I just didn't want to have to deal with it tonight. So how about you tell us about your game, and then we'll maybe take a look at scores and talk about the games.
Well, I went down to Pittsburgh. If anybody is interested in North Carolina geography, Pittsburgh is not in the exact center of the state, but it's pretty close. It's within 25 miles of the dead center of the state. So you go through Pittsburgh, between Pittsburgh and Asheboro, somewhere around that area. I think it actually might be in, I don't know if it's in Randolph County or if it's in Montgomery County, but that's pretty much the center of the state. So I saw West Carteret, which is on the eastern part of the state. It's about a 3-hour drive from Morehead City to Pittsburgh, at least today it was. And they played tonight. And West Carteret's a 5A team, and Northwood's a 3A team. And Dale, the one thing I will say is the field conditions did make a difference tonight. About this whole season, the ground's been pretty dry. It's been pretty hard where I live, maybe a little bit dusty even. Not today. This was a wet field, basically from the hash marks to the sidelines. It was just soggy wet, and it did slow down I think it probably hurt Northwood more than it did West Carteret. West Carteret's is a power team. They have a good offensive line. They get a lot of push on the ball. They're not going to beat you with their speed, but they will beat you with their power. And Northwood, on the other hand, they're a team. They're not very big. They have some speed. They like to attack the corners, and they just couldn't get a really good run tonight. At halftime was 13-7 West Carteret, and the game kind of went back and forth in the second half. West Carteret always had the upper hand. Final score was 29-21. West Carteret, the Patriots, beats the Chargers in Northwood tonight, 29-21. I did get to hang out with my buddy Bill Hall. Bill is a distant cousin of mine, and he used to be the Northwood football coach. And Dale, you would love Bill for one reason: he caters barbecue. He makes his own stuff, and he said he loves every month and a half to 6 weeks to 8 weeks. He and a bunch of his buddies will go to different barbecue restaurants throughout the state to try out. And asked him about Hillsborough Barbecue Company. He said, yeah, that's one of the better ones in the state. So,
like
barbecue
yeah.
and football, man. That's, what better guy can you ask for? Bill Hall, Pinecrest class of 1983. So, anyway, he had a pretty good run at Northwood. He was the head coach there from, I believe, 98 to 2014. So he has some pretty deep roots in the area.
Go ahead. I was just going to say, I think we got a highlight from the game. I had considered going to the Providence Ardor Kell game because of its implications for the conference championship. So we do have one highlight from that game, and it was a final of Providence 28 to Ardor Kell 14. So Providence wins conference championship. So maybe we can see the one highlight we have.
I saw it from like Tuesday, okay? When all the things that they were saying, all the talk that was being talked about, all the text messages that you guys got, and not one word was said by this squad. Not one. All right? Because we knew what we were about. We've matured since the beginning of the season. And you had the mentality to come out and play physically. Yes, and not about the mouth. You understand?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Wow, that's a good speech.
Well, that's interesting. I wonder what text messages they got. And I wonder, unfortunately, there was some talk before that, and I wonder what he meant by talk about. So maybe people aren't talking about Providence. Maybe that's what he was saying. We can only guess, and then they received text messages, so there must have been some messaging back and forth within their community also, maybe about a lack of respect for Providence football. Who knows? Somebody out there knows, let us know. But Providence did what they had to do tonight, and that was they won. I think everyone thought this would be a close game. And it was. Providence, I think, played a little better than I thought. My prediction was 28-21 is what I thought the score would be. So I think Providence may have played a little bit better. I don't want to say Ardrey played worse. I don't know what the situation there, just didn't know. But in the end, very good win for Providence. Conference champions. Now we'll just have to see where the playoffs shake out for them.
Sorry, Providence 1, Palisades 2, and then Ardrey 3. Is that the right order in that conference?
That would be the correct order because Palisades beat Ardrey. So that actually gives Ardrey 2 losses. So a solid no losses, 1 loss, 2 loss conference finish. So no ties in the top 3. And Palisades won tonight pretty big. I think 42-6 over East Mecklenburg, something like that. That wasn't. Here's our scores. Not a lot of competition in the Power 6 gym. 41-7, 31-0, 43-0.
I thought the Independence Butler game might have been a little bit closer. I think Independence is just on a roll right now.
Yeah, I just wasn't sure how close that game could be because I just really believe there's a lot of work that has to be done at Butler. I just don't think people can appreciate the loss of football culture that has occurred there since Hale's last stint and having to rebuild all that. And Indy's on a roll, so that's not a good combination to step up and meet your rival, and those are
Right.
2 big rivals. Just like Mallard Creek and Chambers are big rivals. That game went maybe about what I expected. I don't know about you, but that's close to. I mean, I didn't have a score in mind other than probably 4 scores. 3 to 4 scores is what I was thinking in my head.
I thought Chambers would score. That's probably the one thing that kind of. I didn't see a shutout in that game, but
well,
thought that'd be something like 31-7 or something like that.
Yeah, the reason a shutout doesn't surprise me is, and it wouldn't have surprised me if Chambers had scored a touchdown either, but it doesn't surprise me because Mallard Creek's they got a pretty good defense. They're not a slouch of a team. Playing a West Charlotte and the other big powers is one thing, and then West Charlotte, though the North Met game is really not the rival game it used to be, not in football. I believe it's still a huge basketball rivalry, but I don't think it's the same in football that it was back in the day. That's a big win for Sam's team. And then Jim, even in the next conference, no surprise on the Huff game. I'm sorry for Hopewell, but that's two programs in totally different tiers, and I think the tier levels are probably there might be a tier or two between Huff and Hopewell.
I agree.
Myers Park, expected them to win. Wasn't sure how they would respond after that game last week with Huff, but looks like they came out and did their job. And hey, in a way, I was pulling for Garinger. Not a way. I would have liked to have seen Garinger win the game, just because Garinger's had far less success than West Mecklenburg has had. And I'd like to see that program turn around. Competitive game, though.
Right.
And, geez, again, looks like we got check it out. We got RKL beating Providence, and then we got Providence beating RKL.
Technical difficulties, guys. Please stand by.
Jim, I just going to say, in logic, the last logic operation always wins. So Providence.
There you go. Providence won on that. Valentine's Ridge beats Rocky River. I thought that was going to be a really close game. Actually, I saw this one as kind of a pick 'em, to be honest with you. Before that game started, who did you think was going to win that one?
I thought Valentine Ridge would. But I figured it would be a one-score, at worst, two-score game, but expected it to be a competitive football game, and it looks like it was. And no surprise in the Palisades East Mac game either.
Right, I agree with you on that. That Greater Metro 6A, 7A, I was looking at some of those scores over there. Saw two pretty good games. Looks like A.L. Brown, West Cabarrus. My question for you: do you what I always look at, and during at the end of the regular season, now we're going into the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Will a team make it to the final 16 or the Sweet 16? Basically, make it to the third week of the playoffs. A.L. Brown, West Cabarrus, I see one of them go, or maybe both of them getting to the second round. Do you see either one of those teams making it to the third round at this point? It's all about – we don't know who they're going to be playing right now. They might get a favorable draw, but would it surprise you to see them getting past the second rounds?
I think if any team had a shot, and again, it's all about the draws, it would be A.L. Brown. But I don't know, Jim. Right now, I would say probably not. But if I had to bet today without seeing any matchups, I would say probably not. But let's wait and see who
it's
they
all
play,
about the matchups. Yeah, That's the thing. It's sometimes I'll see a team that week 11 or week 12 used to be when we had 12 weeks in the regular season, where I just didn't think they're going to do anything in the playoffs. Next thing you know, they're in the regional championship game. I've seen that happen time and again, to be honest with you. And that's the reason why it's easy to say, well, this team is not going to make it past the first round or second round. You just never know. It's all about about matchups. Sometimes you'll get a player that was not 100% during the regular season come back. That Olympic Hickory Ridge, I guess that was the deciding game to who wins that conference, and Olympic wins 16-13. I picked Olympic. I think you did too, if I remember right.
Yeah, I picked Olympic. In fact, that game was in our pick'ems this week in the Observer, and I picked Olympic. I figured it'd be a close game, I figured it'd be a one-score game. And one score for me means up to 7 points. So now I can't necessarily say I thought that it would be a 3-point game, but 16's not a score that I would have predicted, right? So I don't know if that's because there's several field goals, 2 field goals in that game, 3 field goals in that game,
right.
maybe. Or there are 2 touchdowns with 2 2-point conversions. Have no idea.
I'm just kind of looking at that conference in general, though. I think this year, this is kind of a growing pains type of year for this conference. I don't think any of these teams are, what do you say, head and shoulders above the rest of them. Though in a couple of years, 2 or 3 years from now, I see some programs that might really do good. A.L. Brown, you never dismiss an A.L. Brown team. Central Cabarrus, they got Donnie Kiefer back. Donnie knows how to build a program. Olympic, you got that Charlotte mojo going on. Hickory Ridge, I think Hickory Ridge finished, second in the conference this year. It's going to be a pretty competitive conference over the next 3 years.
Cox Mill has always got an opportunity to do something. Berry and Harding are 2 programs that struggle, or they're in long struggling phases, and I don't know that they can pull out of that. This would have been the kind of competition that maybe could have allowed them to do it, and they didn't fare well this year, Jim. So
right.
The bad thing about this conference is that Berry, Harding, and Olympic are in the southwest quarter of Charlotte, of Mecklenburg County, and they have to go up to Cabarrus County to play these games. And of course, the teams in Cabarrus County have to come down. So there's a lot of travel with this particular conference. Now, granted, they all can pop on 85 and hop up and down, but Jim, if you've
it's a fairly diverse conference.
Well, I was going to say if you've never done it, but I-85 in the afternoon is horrible on the north side of Charlotte, because you got all those people that work in Cabarrus County that work in Charlotte, and it's a large population of people, and they're going back to Cabarrus County. So that just makes these travels, I think, for basketball, football, everything real tough. Go ahead.
Y'all live on the wrong side of 85. You need to live near Hillsboro. I live walking distance from my 85 right now. Central Cabarrus and Cox Mill, they had some pretty good wins tonight. Statesville, North Iredell, Statesville, that's a program that I'd keep my eyes out in the playoffs. I could see them making to the 3rd round. Right now, I'm just saying teams I can look at flying in the 3rd round. It wouldn't shock me at all to see Statesville in the 3rd round.
I think they could make it that far. You would think they're going to make it again. It's all about matchups, but you'd think they're at least going to get through the first 2 rounds.
Right.
Now,
Providence Day, big win tonight, 49-0.
Yeah, there's no surprise there.
No surprise on that one.
No, and Langston said that substitutes were playing. I think he said in the first quarter.
Wow.
So I just know there's no surprise there, because the level of competition between Providence Day and really certainly anybody within the privates this year is a big gap. Providence Day could drop in and play in the 8A or 7A playoffs, and you'd have to favor them, and you'd have to put them down as a favorite to win the state championship.
Gotcha.
That's how good that program is.
I'll say Chris Hughes gave you
no, Chris. It's no congrats to me.
It's all for the Trojans.
Yeah, and you made a good pick. I can understand it. Honestly, when I looked at the picks on this game, it went through my mind, should I pick Hickory Ridge? And in the end, I just felt like there was maybe a little bit more in Olympic.
Right.
You know, there's a lot of motivation here. I would think that they tried to, or hopefully they used to feed off of, and that is a very rare conference championship that
right.
You would hope they would build off of. So, Chris, you know, man, I don't think there's any shame in your picking Hickory Ridge. And when I saw someone question why did you pick them, I was thinking, well, you know, Chris might be the one that gets this one right, and we all get it wrong. I didn't think Chris was in left field.
I got you. Monroe beats Forest Hills. Monroe, you know, that's a team that's really, they have played a tough schedule. And you know what? It's starting to pay dividends. They win the Rocky River tonight, Rocky River Conference. They beat Forest Hills 21-0.
Big rival game there.
Yeah, Community School Davison over Pine Lake Prep 42-0, and North Rowan beats Mount Island Charter 30-21. I thought that was going to be a pretty good game, to be honest with you. And I know a couple of our correspondents and with our group went to see North Rowan play tonight.
Yeah.
That's a pretty nice little drive, I guess, from Spencer over to the border of Gaston County. So
over to Denver area, or yeah exactly. It's not a hop, skip, and jump, as they say. Right.
Not a faint of the heart, that's for sure. All right. Well, I'll tell you what, I know we got about.
See what else we got.
See what else we got here. Sure, we'll get some more scores in just a little bit.
We may not have the other ones yet. There we go.
In the Raleigh area, Friendship beats Panther Creek 17-0. No surprise there. I've seen both of those teams play. Friendship has got a really good team. Panther Creek is a pretty gritty team, and I knew that was going to be I'm pretty much sure that Friendship would win. I'm so kind of surprised that Panther Creek held them Friendship down to 17-0. So that team has improved during the year. Green Hope, they win again. They beat Green Level 44-22, and Jordan all over Willow Spring 43-3. I know we've been talking a lot about Millbrook, but do not discount Jordan whatsoever. Jordan is a very good 8A team. In the Tobacco Road 6A, 7A, Riverside over Northern Durham 43-6. Southern Durham beats Chapel Hill 49-10. Dale, Southern Durham, I think right now they're a team that I'd keep my eyes out on in the 7A. So they're a little bit better than I anticipated. Darius Robinson has been at Southern Durham for at least a decade. He's a good fella. East Wake over Knightdale 6-0. Cardinal Gibbons, they keep on winning 46-0. Middle Creek over Holly Springs 37-7. Seaforth beats Carborough 57-0. And South Granville beats Webb. A little bit surprised by that. Webb, if they won that game, would have won the Big 7 4A 5A outright. I think right now it's a three-way tie between Webb, South Granville, and maybe Seaforth. I don't know. It's a big mess over there in that Big 7 4A 5A. Three Rivers, Southwest Edgecombe over North Johnson 49-20. Bunn 42, Roanoke Rapids 8, Midway 52, Goldsboro 14, and North Raleigh Christian 42, Ravenscroft 28. Tell you what, I was hoping maybe we can get some state scores next. See what we got. Oh, great. Someone read my mind here. See any of those games kind of stand out for you?
Yeah, I'm scanning them now to see.
And by the way, that North Stanley Bonnie Cone game, that was a Saturday game last week. North Stanley beat Bonnie Cone 55-6. And
big score in that Perquimans game.
I'm glad you said. You know what? That game is for people not in the eastern part of the state. They would be mispronouncing both of these. They'd call one of them Perquimans, and the other one Birdie.
Perquimans.
Perquimans. Yeah. It sounds like some type of Worcestershire sauce, but it is Perquimans and it is Bertie.
Let's see here. Southwest.
And what famous baseball player came from Perquimans High School? You know this one.
He played for the A's, right?
Yep, played for the A's.
Catfish?
Catfish Hunter. That's right.
Yeah, Catfish. Yeah, Catfish Hunter. Yep. Yeah. I had to get my mind's running a little slower now, but I was a big A's fan, so back in the 70s, so it was in my head, Jim. Wilson Prep.
All over North Edgecombe.
Yeah,
they're a team that's dangerous, I think. I'm trying to see if anything there that kind of stands out. Martin County is a team that just keeps on winning. They did lose last week to Northeastern, but it was a very close game. Martin County might be a team in the 3As that people need to keep their eyes out on. So I know I am. That Farmville Central Aiden Grifton game, 31-27, that was a good game. Maybe I was a little bit surprised. I think I had Aiden Grifton winning that game.
I didn't think about it, so I hate to say now what I would have, which one I would have picked. I did not think about that game this week, so
I'll tell you what, let's do. Let's go ahead and look at the Friday schedule, I guess. All right, here in the Raleigh area, Louisville Road to Broughton. That could be a pretty interesting game. I think Louisville Road will be favored, but do not discount Broughton. Cleveland Clayton, I think, is the game to go to in the Greater East.
That's got to be the biggest game in the East.
Yeah,
certainly the biggest game in that area, I think.
I might go to that Franklinton Vance County game, although I think I might go to Bartlett Yancey to see them play Carver for a different reason, for a sentimental reason. But that Franklinton Vance County would be a good game to go to. Let's see. Lee at Southern Lee, surprisingly, that would be a pretty good game to go to. When I say that, Lee County historically has been the stronger of the two teams. I think this year they're pretty even. Maybe Lee County is a little bit stronger than Southern Lee, but it's not by much. Union Pines, they keep on winning. Pretty good.
They keep on winning. So
yeah, they're going to win. I think they won the conference, and this is the first conference they won in probably close to 50 years. I bet it's been since the 70s.
Good coach.
Yeah, Brian Till's a guy. Go to that West Craven Eastern Wayne game would be a good one to go to. Also, if you're out in that general Goldsboro area. So, too, I wouldn't go to the next slide here. Wallace Rose Hill, James Keenan. Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
you're talking about the Yankees versus the Red Sox type of getting filled for that.
Yeah, I was thinking, well, what are some other big rival games? And there you go.
I'll tell you what, for just pure fans, you couldn't ask for a better group of fans than Duplin County. You got all four high schools: North Duplin, East Duplin, Wallace Rose Hill, and James Keenan. Just incredible fans.
Duplin?
Yeah, that's another one. Duplin. It's not a dumpling. It's not Whiteville either. It's Whiteville. So, all right, let's look here. The Davie County, South Iredell. That could be a pretty good game. I'll probably pick Davie County to win that one. Same thing. I think Marsville will beat Lake Norman. But, I mean, look at that. Both those teams are 7-2. Both of them were undefeated in the conference. So, Lake Norman might have that chip on their shoulder,
Well, that's a huge rival game.
Yeah,
that's a great game to go to. I have been to it. But I think Mooresville's got too much.
Yeah, I agree.
Quite honestly. So Lake Norman proved me wrong, but Mooresville's a very good football team.
There's one game in that Southern Carolina 6A7 I'd love to go to, that Sun Valley at Porter Ridge.
I've been to that game.
I'm going to pick Sun Valley to win that one, but I think that would be a fun game to watch.
Yeah, I've been to that game, I don't know, 3 or 4 times. That's a huge rival game. That's as big a rival game as any there are. Porter Ridge is in Indian Trail, so is Sun Valley, and of course Sun Valley's the older school and split and created Porter Ridge, and good football teams, but I think Sun Valley's the better team. At least that's my thoughts. So I pick Sun Valley here.
I agree with you. That Big South, that Charlotte Christian, Charlotte Latin, that could be a pretty good game.
I think it definitely will be a good game. Latin, Latin was a bit of a letdown last week
against Country Day, right?
Yeah, so Christian's good, but obviously that record doesn't speak, I think, for maybe how good they are. So I think that'll be a competitive game, Jim.
So in the Big South, we got Ashbrook at Hunter Huss, Crest at Kings Mountain, and North Gaston at Forest View. I mean, I see 3 pretty decent rivalry games, actually really good rivalry games, especially I think Crest and Kings Mountain. Ashbrook and Hunter Huss, that's the Battle of Gastonia. And North Gaston and Forest View, that right there is going to be a pretty good battle. I think Forest View will beat North Gaston, but I wouldn't bet the house on it.
Yeah, I'm not sure which is the bigger rivalry for Ashbrook, if it's Hunter Huss or if it's South Point. But there's kind of some rivalries there like there are over in Cleveland County.
Right.
And Crest Kings Mountain is without doubt. And I've been to that game as well several times. I've been to it at Crest and at Kings Mountain. And that's those times I've been, fantastic environments. I it's just got to feel, though, that the Crest will take that game. And Ashbrook will take their game, and Forest View maybe.
Right.
I don't know. I'm picking. I think Forest View maybe over North Gaston.
Looking at the Rocky River 4A5A, a lot of people don't realize what a big rivalry that Mount Pleasant West Stanley game is. That's a very big rivalry. Mount Pleasant is the stronger team this year, but that's still a rivalry game. Parkwood, Anson County, we'll see what happens with that. Both those teams are just playing for see what they can, if they have it, they'll make it into the playoffs. I think Anson County might be on the right side of the bubble. I'm not exactly sure about Parkwood. We'll see later on. The South Piedmont 4A5A, that Northwest Cabarrus J.M. Robinson game probably stands out the most.
It's being potentially the most competitive, maybe.
I think just for pure play.
I think J.M. Robinson wins the game.
Oh, I do too. But
what I see interesting here, Jim, is just the fact that Concord has a winning record and will at least finish regular season with a they can't finish no worse than 5-5. So
right.
And Salisbury at 2-7, that's a bit of that's hard to believe.
Right, I agree with you.
Let's
see what else we got here.
Well, let's bring those Charlotte scores back up real quick. We still got a question on the Indy scores, so we get those scores up. We can.
Yeah, 41-7.
41-7. Not a lot of a surprise there, except for maybe you would have liked to. We're all friends of Coach Hales, so we would have liked to have seen that game to be closer.
Now, I think Shelby and Burns will play tomorrow, if I remember correctly.
They do.
Now, they're usually the last week of the season. At least they have been of recent. That will be a good rivalry game.
I'm pretty sure they play tomorrow night.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they are too. I think it's going to be a close game. So, see if there's any more schedule. I don't know if we have any more schedules, games for. Here we go. Here's some more of them. And
yes, I would go to Shelby. I would go to Shelby just to go to Bridges and then go see that game. But I don't know.
Yeah,
see, if it were 7 o'clock start, I would consider it. But 7:30 really not good.
Look at their records: 6-3 and 6-1 in conference. I mean, Lincolnton 6-1, Shelby 6-1, Burns 6-1.
Hold on one second, Jim. So Myers Park won pretty big, 42-14, something like that. There was a question: did South Meck Myers Park?
It was 40-14.
40-14.
I believe it was 40-14. Yeah, 40-14. Okay. So going down the Yadkin Valley 1A, 2A, 3A, that South Stanley Albemarle game, that's used to be a really big rivalry. North Stanley Union Academy, Bonnie Cone and Thomas Jefferson. Look at that non-conference, San Juan, Puerto Rico Legacy Sports at Raven Gap School.
Yeah, I noticed that last. When did I see that? I saw that recently on one of our shows, and
That's pretty good travel.
I found it interesting. Yeah, so the kids get to come up and play in the mountains of North Carolina.
Tell you what, let's do here. If that's all the schedules, maybe we can go over the scores one last time and see what we got here. If there's anything that we're missing. Here's a statewide.
Or I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to say names. I wonder if we could real quickly, if we got our picks, we could pull them up too.
Eastern Randolph 49, Jordan Matthews 0. 30 years ago that score might have been opposite. Jordan Matthews used to have a dominant team. And Southside 27, Lejeune 6. New Bern beat South Central 21-3. Beginning of the season, I thought New Bern's a 7A team. I didn't know how good they're going to be. They play in a pretty tough conference. There's some people don't realize how tough that Craven-Pitt County area is. Conley, Rose, some really good teams there. So. All right, maybe we can look at the if we don't have the picks, maybe we can get the
oh yeah, he's going I think we're going to look at the playoff stuff too.
Raleigh area, that Jordan Willis Spring game 43-3. Cardinal Gibbons, they keep on winning 46-0. There's some really good teams in my area.
There are. I think Millbrook's going to be one to be looking out for late in the playoffs.
Right.
Maybe the final final game.
Right.
I expect they may be playing in it.
So that's what maybe we can look at the playoffs picture. So they get released on Sunday. I'm glad it's Sunday, not Monday. Anything would be the earlier the better, obviously.
But people don't understand the amount of, probably don't appreciate the amount of time coaches have to put into preparation, and that even this is going to cause the coaches to be a day behind, because you got to review film. Once you review film, you can't develop a game plan until you've seen the other team that you're playing. You got to see how they play, and then you develop your both your defensive scheme and your offensive scheme. So they're behind. That's usually done and then presented to the coaching staff on Sunday. So they'll be behind.
So this Thanksgiving will be the semifinal, regional semifinals, November 28th, or fourth week in the playoffs. I don't know, after the day after Thanksgiving, I always want to go back and watch some good football. I just need to enjoy on that. State finals, UNC, Lenoir-Rhyne, and Durham County Stadium. I'm really tickled about Lenoir-Rhyne. I think that's a great opportunity for that school and for that general area. I think the people live in that, I call it kind of the greater foothills area, they'll really appreciate what the association does by putting those games over Lenoir-Rhyne.
Well, I hope that they find ways to put them at more locations in the future. Now, one thing we jumped over is that 1A and 8A receive a bye on December 5th,
right?
Which is regional rounds for the other classes.
Right.
So there will be a pause, a healing week, however they want to look at it, for the 1A and 8A. But I'd love to see some other locations host state finals. Been saying that for a long time.
Somewhere in the middle of the state, as close to the middle as possible. I mean, even I would love to see like the regional games being played in the general area. You know, wouldn't it be cool if you're like in the West Regional and got to play at like Panther Stadium or whatever stadium's called. I don't know what the Panther Stadium's called. But
yeah, there's I think two arguments to that.
Yeah.
You know, when they move state championships and such off of school fields, and you know, you feel like you lose something there.
Right.
But I would like to see other schools host regional finals, like East Carolina. You know, bring East Carolina in.
I think it'd be a great idea.
Yeah, maybe App State. I'd like to see the state championships played at. That's where they should be played, at Panthers, at the Panther Stadium is a state championships there.
Right. And the NCISAA playoff rounds November 7th and 14th. State finals the 21st at higher seed school. So the difference between D1 and D2's enrollment 375 looks like the magic number. If you have more than 375, you're in D1. Less than 375, 374 or less is D2. All right. Let's look at those picks here. So West Mac beat Garinger. Dale, you did fine. Providence beat Ardrey. Everybody did fine. A.L. Brown beat West Cabarrus. Everybody did fine. Olympic beat Hickory Ridge. One person didn't get it, but, you know, that was a good game. It was 16-13. It was a game could have gone either way, and Monroe beats Forest Hills. Everybody picked that. The only one left is that Lake Norman-Mooresville game, and looks like everybody's going with Mooresville.
Yeah, so out of this whole matrix here, everybody picked the same game except for two games. Gary picked Garinger, and Chris picked Hickory Ridge. Otherwise, we all picked the same teams, which is, I don't want to say it's Well, this really isn't a surprise.
It looks like there's a 4-way tie for first. Looking at the 42-18s between you and Chris, Langston, and Nate.
Yeah, unfortunately for Chris, he's going to drop one game behind. He'll drop one game behind because even if we all missed the Mooresville game, he picked Mooresville too. So Chris picking Hickory Ridge is going to put him one game behind. And so I think effectively we got a 3-way tie for first.
Okay.
There's no trophies. There's nothing. There's
exactly.
I've won this thing before and got nothing for it. So,
well, is that going to be your final thought, Dale? No, I'll let you do your final thoughts.
Final thought, yeah. Give us a trophy. Hey, let's have a an overtime. Let's pick in the playoffs. The last few seasons we stopped picking in the playoffs. Maybe if y'all would like to see us pick in the playoffs, why don't you let us know? You can tweet us. You can tweet at us. You can make a comment in on this video. You can push the man that runs the show and tell him we want to have a playoff situation, or just have the picks continue to go through. But regardless, it's a weird night, Jim. What do we call it to start? This is the pre-Halloween games, and tomorrow is the Halloween games.
This is week 11, part A, and tomorrow's week 11, part B. So, were there any trick or treats? We didn't really see a lot of tricks tonight, did we? No, we did not.
Or treats.
So, there's a lot of chances for you guys to come back and catch up with us. We'll be on here tomorrow night. We'll go over the remaining games. We will have a kind of a fun show on Sunday because, that's when
Monday.
Monday. Okay.
It's going to be released Monday.
Released Monday. Okay, my bad. That's right. It's going to be Monday. We're going to break down the playoffs. I'm pretty sure we'll be able to decipher everything. It's going to be a little bit on the fly here, and I'm looking forward to that, Dale. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I don't know about you, but I always want to see that one team or two teams that nobody saw getting past the second round and make it to the regional final.
Yeah, so what it'll be the main show done for Monday versus Tuesday.
So we got Wednesday, we got Talking Preps OT, and then we'll come back here that next Friday also. So a lot of chances to catch up with us. So, well, Dale, it's always been a pleasure. Hope your back starts feeling better. I know the relief is somewhere in the future for you. We just don't know when.
Well, there's surgery planned December 5th. I think it is.
Oh gosh,
I have to go back and look, but
that's my daughter's 25th birthday.
So
sometime
after that, I don't know when. I just know that the first month or so, I'm not allowed to lift more than 5 pounds and a whole bunch of other junk. But hopefully that this time next year, everything will be good.
Good. Well, from Jim West and Dale Ross, thank you so much for joining us on Talking Preps, and we will catch up with you tomorrow night. Take care, guys. See ya.